Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CIS Graduate Open Series. This is our session on the Politics and Sociology Master's degree at UCL CIS. My name is Katerina Papakyriakopoulou and I work in Admissions and Communications. I am joined by Dr. Sean Hanley, who is an Associate Professor in Comparative Central and East European Politics and also the Admissions Tutor for Politics and Sociology. And we are also joined by Angela Namci, the Program Administrator for the Politics and Sociology degree. So we will be going through a short presentation about the degree and a little bit about the school, and then there will be plenty of time to ask questions in the end. Please note that we are recording this session, so if you keep your cameras off for now, we'll stop recording after the presentation, and then you can feel free to put your mics and cameras on. If you don't feel comfortable doing so, you can put any questions you have in the chat. So for now, I'll hand over to Sean for a presentation about who we are and what's on offer. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Katerina. So I'm Sean Hanley. I'm Associate Professor in Central and East European Politics, and I deal with the academic side of admissions for our Politics and Sociology degrees. I'm going to talk about what we offer at the UCL School of Slavonic and East European Studies. In the picture, you can see the historic quad at the heart of UCL, but we're just a little bit further away from that in the main Bloomsbury campus of UCL, and we have our own building, which is the modern building that you see there, which also includes our library, which I'll talk a bit about in a moment. And I should say that the School of Slavonic and East European Studies is always known as CIS. So if I talk about CIS, that's what our school is called. The school has existed about 110 years, founded in 1915. It was part of the University of London, but it joined UCL in about 1999, about 25 years ago. We are essentially a large department within UCL. We are, however, by far the largest academic centre for the study of Eastern Europe, Russia, and the former Soviet Union in the UK, and probably in Europe. We've got just over 1,000 students, both at BA, MA, and people researching PhDs, and around about 100 academic staff. We offer quite a wide range of BA degrees, 13 master's programs, 3 of which in politics and sociology I'll be talking about. And we also offer masters in research and PhD programs. As I've mentioned, we've got our own library within the building, which you saw. It's an award-winning library, both for its design and for its excellent provision. We have resources on Central and Eastern Europe, including in languages of the region. And we also have some excellent general kind of sociology, politics and social sciences resources. So although UCL does have other libraries, including a large main library, a lot of what you might need physically is in our building. We are interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary in what we teach and also the research that people do, which essentially means we cover a lot of subject areas. We cover sociology, politics, economics, culture, languages, anthropology. So we approach the region from many different perspectives, and even if you're doing a social sciences degree, politics, sociology, you will be able to lean into some of these other areas. And staff often have a foot in 2 different camps. So someone will be interested in culture, but also in sociology. And we have links across Eastern Europe and partner institutions with universities, and that includes our 2-year international masters in economy, state and society, where students do a 2nd year at a university in the region in Eastern Europe. I won't be talking about that program today, but if you are interested in it, you'll be able to follow up from other sources, and my colleagues in admissions can give you further information if you want to know where to find it. Okay. Why would you want to take an MA at CIS? Well, first of all, we are a specialist department, a specialist centre, and we cover Eastern Europe, former Soviet Union, post-communist space, Eurasia, people call it by different names, both in depth and in breadth. So we cover the Visegrad countries, Central Europe, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic. We cover the former Soviet Union. We cover the Baltic states. We cover Southeastern Europe, which many people call the Balkans. And we also teach on Central Asia. And the people that we have are really very much specialists in the particular regions and countries that they cover, as well as in a subject area. We have quite a large program, but we still teach in small groups. We don't have large lectures or anything like that. You'll rarely be in a group bigger than 15 or 20, probably much smaller. And you will be taught by academic staff at a level of lecturer upwards. You won't be taught by generally by teaching assistants. You'll be taught by people like me. We have a very wide range of modules. We have modules which cover particular countries, particular areas, but also particular disciplines, sociology, international relations, political science, comparative politics, corruption, transitional justice, political culture, and more. We also have a very wide range of events and research seminars. I'll say a bit more about those in a moment, but essentially we have academic seminars, people presenting academic research, but we also have events which focus on current affairs. So we just had one recently on the Czech elections, and we have speakers who are non-academics, so they're journalists, artists, writers, former diplomats, or whatever. Simply put, CESE is really pretty much the best place to study the region that you will find, certainly in this country, probably Europe. I hesitate to say that we've got absolutely everything, but we've pretty much got almost everything. Okay. The master's programs that we offer, I'm going to talk about the one-year master's programs in politics and sociology. These can be taken full-time over a year, or if you want, part-time over 2 years. And if you did do it part-time over 2 years, you would do taught courses in your first year, and taught courses plus the dissertation, the kind of end of course project in the second year. We have a degree in political analysis, which focuses on politics and political science, Russia and Eastern Europe in brackets, of course. We have one on political sociology, which is a slightly different discipline with different concerns, different disciplinary approach. And we also have a more area-focused degree, Russian and post-Soviet politics. I've mentioned as well the 2-year International Masters in Economy, State and Society, IMS as it's called, that we have, which has different pathways, of which 2 cover politics. But as I say, I'm not going to talk about that, but I'll just flag that as an additional option which may interest some of you. Program structure. Now, I don't have the time to go into detail on program structures because of time, but I'll give a kind of broad overview. And essentially, the program will be structured in terms of a core module or modules that you would have to do. For political sociology and political analysis, those will be in social science methods, although you do have a choice. For our Russian and post-Soviet politics, at the moment, it would be a core course focusing on Russian politics, plus some optional choices on other regions of the, well, let us call it the post-Soviet space. You'll also have a wide range of electives, and electives means optional modules that you can choose. And you also have the option of choosing one module subject to availability from another UCL department, provided it kind of fits with the program, so it's broadly social sciences. You also have the opportunity to study a language of the CESE region, more about that on the next slide, which we strongly encourage you to do so. It's not compulsory, you don't have to, but it would give you, for the study of the region and just generally for career building and general education, it would give you an extra something which you're not going to get, or you're less likely to get elsewhere. even a modest knowledge of a language of the region really does give you a head start and enables you to see things that you just wouldn't see just showing up and using English. The final thing I need to point out is that our MA degrees do have at the end a dissertation, an independent research project, which you have to carry out with help with a supervisor. If you've done a degree in history or in social sciences in the UK, you will probably have done something similar. You'll have done a final year dissertation. The difference, I think, with our MAs is that firstly, it's weighted much more heavily. It counts for a third of the final mark, and it's slightly longer. And as I should say, we do provide training and supervision. You will have an individual supervisor to help you design your project and carry it through successfully. Languages, I mentioned languages, we do encourage them, and we teach all languages of the CIS region, Bulgarian, Czech, Estonian, Finnish as a historical oddity, but Finland was considered to be in Eastern Europe when we were founded. We still teach Finnish, Hungarian, Polish, and of course, Russian, Ukrainian, and Serbian, Croatian. All of these languages we offer at an introductory level and an intermediate level. And for Russian, we also have two advanced levels, and we would give you a placement test early on if you were interested in doing a language option. Our language teachers are based in CIS itself. They're very experienced, and they're used to dealing with a wide range of language learners, from people who are beginning absolutely from nothing to people who are maybe heritage speakers. Maybe you've got a bit of Polish or a knowledge of another language because of your family background, as well as the fact that some people, depending what language you speak natively, some people have more of a head start than others. So we have a very good language teaching setup, and we encourage you to take a language, but you don't have to. Who teaches? Oh God, we've got lots of people. We've got a politics team, I think, of about 25 people. I don't have time to talk about everybody. Here are some of my younger colleagues who've joined in recent years. Ben Noble, for example, is associate professor in Russian politics, has written a book about the late Alexei Navalny, and also researches the political system of Putin's Russia, the role of parliament, is it rubber stamp, and so on. Dr. Glasnitkov teaches the international politics of Russia, so how it relates to the wider region and China, former Soviet republics, and more. And Dr. Jessie Barton-Hraneshova is a political sociologist who works on Central Europe, Southeastern Europe, and has covered issues like transitional justice and the politics of victimhood. And she teaches the core course on our political sociology MA. We offer more than just academic stuff, academic teaching. We have a lot of public facing events. We've had focusing on current affairs, but also bringing external speakers. We've had talks by ambassadors, so the former British ambassador to Ukraine, former British ambassador to Afghanistan, who was also had a background in Eastern Europe, writers, journalists, think tank people, and more. We also have student-led activities, such as the so-called post-Soviet press group, which is a discussion group which has been around for many years, which meets lunchtimes on Wednesdays, where students these days put together kind of web-based briefings on current affairs in the former Soviet Union. The press title is a historical thing these days. You know, no one reads newspapers, or not really, but we've kept the title. There's also the journal Slovo, which is a student-run academic journal, online journal based in the school. I just had different incarnations, different teams, but it's an opportunity for people with a more academic bent to run the journal, and for people to publish work, maybe done a really good dissertation, in a genuine academic journal. So we have a lot of student-facing things, and there's a kind of social side as well, CEAS, student society as well. Okay, where do you go? What can you do with this? Where do people go? Well, a lot of people are coming in with some career plans already, pivoting maybe towards our region, but with some kind of professional background already. So you may already have clear plans, but broadly speaking, the directions that we see are people who work in government, in policy, international organizations. One of our MA graduates was working in the Cabinet Office. I think has moved to some other ministry. Last thing I saw on Twitter. But also the charity sector, NGOs, sort of business intelligence, and a kind of somewhere between journalism and kind of business type, analyzing risks, political risks, but also a range of other things, including the media, teaching education, and just conventional business, international companies, national companies. And of course, some people go on sooner or later to do a PhD, so they go into research. Sometimes as contract researchers professionally, sometimes an academic PhD. Okay, actually, before I say that, I will just say a few more words about careers directions. And what I will just add here is that UCL has a very big and well-established careers service. And within that, CEAS, so our school has its own careers person who works with our students from within the careers service. And we also have an academic, Dr. Pavel Buchowski, who organizes careers-related activities within the school, focusing specifically on our graduates and employers who are maybe interested in the kind of skills that you would develop. And that might be with one-to-one careers consultations with careers staff who are familiar with the CEAS region and the kind of jobs opportunities that our MAs offer. We have an alumni network where you could meet, former graduates and draw on their experiences about how they built their careers and where they went. There are also events which Pavel has organized on particular, let's say, particular industries such as risk consultancy, and he's had external speakers that we've got connections with who've talked about the industry and what it involves. We have in the past had more conventional kind of careers evenings with employers, and I think that is a possibility, but you would need to track that. Things changed a lot with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, as many big companies that were involved with Russia are no longer involved with Russia. But that's the kind of landscape of careers support. So in many ways, both with this and with other things, we kind of had the best of both worlds. You're part of a very big university, but at the same time, you're part of a much smaller unit where people kind of know each other, and which has its own particular kind of profile and culture. Okay, what are we looking for when you apply? Okay, so we're looking really for a mixture of things. We're looking for a good academic background. We're looking for the equivalent of an upper second class degree in British terms. That's a 2-1. In a relevant field, so that would typically mean something sociology, politics, history, something like that in the arts and humanities, maybe language degree, something in the social sciences. But we will certainly take into account people who've got other kinds of degrees in, say, STEM or something like the performing arts. And although we'll look carefully at those kind of applications. And occasionally we might interview, but we consider everybody in a wide range of degrees. There's no typical kind of CEAS applicant, and we certainly don't assume that people come in with a knowledge of the region, and we don't assume that people come in with any particular background in sociology or politics. We'll also consider relevant work experience and relevant life experience that you might have had working or traveling in the region, or maybe you've learned Russian as an extracurricular activity. do put that in your application statement. And we want a clear statement of your motivation. Why are you interested in the region? Why do you want to do our program? Why do you want to come to us? Where do you want to go? Why did you choose us? Tell us your story, essentially in your personal statement, and we'll take it from there. To find out more, okay, well, you can ask a question in this session, or even right now if you want to put something into the chat. You could register your interest on the UCL website. If you're UK based, particularly if you are within reasonable reach of London, you'd come in person to our graduate open evening, which will be on Wednesday, the 28th of January, and you could meet me, I think Lisa, Katerina, and some of my academic colleagues over a glass of, can I say a glass of wine? Over a glass of something anyway. You could follow us on social media. CESE is on most social media platforms: LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. And the handle is always at UCLCESE, at UCLSSEES. And you can also contact our admissions team on the email address that you can see, maadmissions@sses.ucl.ac.uk. And if you're curious about more about the modules we teach, the courses we teach, the structure of the degree, you can find out more online by looking at our program handbooks, the handbooks for our degrees. And you can also find some short videos in which I and other people talk about the courses that we teach on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Okay, and beyond that, thanks for listening, and I think we're going to hand over to one of our students who'll give you a student's perspective, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thank you very much, Sean. Yes, we will hand over to our student Daria, who will say a few words about her degree. So over to you, Daria.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Daria. I'm a political sociology student here at CESE. I've started this year. I'm doing a master's degree, which is 1 year long. And at the end of my degree, I will have to write a dissertation. And I am I'm planning to focus in my dissertation on how the war in Ukraine affected migration of Ukrainians, like outside of Ukraine. My background before joining CESE, I have a bachelor's in media and communication and sociology. So I do come from like social sciences background, which made it a lot easier to kind of catch up with all the content of my course and everything since we're doing sociology. But also, if you haven't got like social sciences background, don't worry, because we do a lot of like, for me, it's a lot of repeating the same things that I already know, but like obviously for people who haven't studied sociology and like have no idea about it, like you will still be able to learn all of the things during your degree. It's all totally fine. Yeah, it's very nice here at CESE. It's not just studies, although you do get to learn from like top experts in their fields, and many of our professors actually also have like a career in some like certain direction. Many of them are like advising or like they're researchers in think tanks and stuff. So you get to learn from people who are not just like theoretics, but also they practice what they teach you. So that's in my opinion very good. And but yeah, it's not just learning. We also have an amazing community at CESE. There's a CESE society, which kind of like unites everyone who goes to CESE. They do a lot of events. Probably I would say weekly they have sessions and like socials. Recently they had a like Halloween themed spooky lecture about Habsburg monarchy and all the scary things that they did in Central Eastern Europe. Also, they do like cooking socials and stuff. A couple of days ago, there was a social where they were cooking, I think Ukrainian and like Moldovan, like Bessarabian food. and people got to have some food at the end of the session, which was really nice. So yeah, if you have any questions about studying at SEAS, I don't know everything yet because it's been like 5 weeks since I've joined SEAS, but I like it very much so far. And if you've got any questions about like application process or anything, let me know.